Hi, Skeet here, and today we are reviewing and demoing the Angel Lopez EC3000 solid body classical guitar. So what you're hearing now is the guitar just plugged in with no processing whatsoever. So let's take a look at this beautiful little thing. So to begin with, it has this beautiful mahogany veneer on the top. The back and sides are solid spruce. The headstock's mahogany. Ultimately, it's how the guitar plays and sounds above anything else. But let's be honest, if it looks good, that's just a bonus, isn't it? And this thing looks good. Kind of reminds me of Lindsey Buckingham's nylon string guitar, though I'm sure he paid more than the recommended retail for his. Recommended retail on this is just £380. So yeah, so we have a mahogany veneer for the top. As I've said, this solid spruce on the back and sides. The neck is mahogany, the headstock's mahogany. It's a composite fingerboard, but it feels, you know, I've got to say, it feels great. It really does feel great. The bridge is also composite wood. It has a nut width of 48mm, so it doesn't feel as chunky as perhaps most classical guitars do. This feels like playing an acoustic, but a nice small necked acoustic. Almost electric really, not far off. But it has the advantage of having that lovely sort of classical tone to it, you know. The scale length is 646mm. The machine heads, as I've mentioned before, are the classical style with the pearloid buttons on them. The electronics are an AR300 system. It's a two-band. You have a bass and a treble, and a volume, of course. There's also a low battery indicator. It's a normal jack input down here, as you would find on any sort of electric guitar, really. So it's quite basic, but it's all you need. I can play around with these, obviously. I can't quite hear what's happening now because it's an electric guitar. I'm plugged direct in, recording this. But let's just have a little play. I'll take the treble right up, the bass right down. So I'm going to guess that's sounding quite thin. And let's roll that bass up. Now that's the bass on full. Again, I suspect it's probably a bit too bassy now. So where I had it set, I think was approximately here. I think this guitar is ideal, particularly for musicians perhaps who are out gigging, who don't want the hassle of feedback that we get with a lot of acoustic guitars, particularly on a classical guitar. It's really nice to have this solid body on it. Sounds great when it's plugged in. It's not silent. I don't know if this microphone's picking it up. If it does, maybe we can, maybe I can include that as well, but let's have a go. So it does have some acoustic properties to it, despite being a solid body. Would make a great practice guitar. It's not silent, but it's almost silent, you know. The guitars are also available in natural spruce and in black. This is the mahogany model, as I mentioned before. It has a lovely matte finish on the back of the neck, high gloss on the back and sides. The machine heads are a classical style. They're gold plated with a pearloid button on, and as you can see from this sort of beautiful engraved detail, I think I'll take a photograph of that close up and drop that in the video here somewhere. There's a space there, let's put it here. Ultimately, it's an electric guitar, but with that classical tone, and it really does sound like a classical guitar, doesn't it? As you can see from some of the demos I've recorded in it, where I've processed the sound a little bit, because let's be honest, you buy the guitar, whether you plug it into an amplifier or whether you record with it, you're going to process that sound. You're going to EQ it. You're going to add some reverb or delays or whatever your signal chain is. So whilst it's important that we hear this just plugged in straight into the board, ultimately that's not really how we're going to use the guitar. So I felt it was important to do some demos of it when I process the sound, so you can hear how this was really going to sound, either through your amp or recording into your DAW like I've done. So you can really hear how it's going to sound either through an amplifier or, as I have done, plug directly into my DAW and then just put some processing on the channel strip. The one thing I will say about this, it's not like playing a classical guitar. If you've ever played a classical guitar, you'll know the necks are notoriously big on them. They're really difficult to get a grip on early on if you're learning to play. I would certainly recommend this guitar to anybody who's looking to get into playing some classical guitar but is struggling with the big neck. You know, classical guitars have notoriously wide necks and they're difficult to play for anybody really. And I've had some classical formal training. So just to recap, we have a mahogany veneer on top. It's solid spruce back and sides, the neck and the headstock are mahogany. It's a composite fingerboard and bridge plate there. The scale length is 646mm. The nut width is 48mm at 1.9 inches. So this makes it feel much more like an electric guitar than those big chunky classicals. It's also nice and narrow. Honestly, it's lovely to play. It punches way above its weight. The recommended retail on this is £380. So the chances are you're going to find it for a lot less online because retailers are always slashing prices. We rarely pay recommended retail, do we? Unless there's a shortage. But at recommended retail, £380. Shop around, guys, because I think you're going to get a real bargain on this. I didn't mention earlier, the action on it is lovely. Again, classical guitars, notoriously difficult. Wide necks, high action. We're looking, I don't have a measurement here, but we're at the 12th fret, 2mm, I suppose. Now I've put the guitar into drop D tuning. Again, notoriously difficult in classicals. They don't like being played around with. They take forever for the strings to break in. So they notoriously don't like being messed about with. Once they've settled in and these nylon strings have settled down, Most people leave their classical guitars in tune and just leave them be, fine tune them. But I put this into drop D, it's gone straight in there, hasn't really taken any fine tuning either, and it's just lovely. You know, it really is lovely. So in conclusion, would I like to own one of these? Absolutely, 100%. It's a real steal for the recommended retail price. It's under £400. I suspect, as I've said earlier, you're not going to pay anywhere near recommended retail either. So if you're looking for a classical guitar without the hassle of carrying around a delicate box, without the feedback problems, but you still need that classical tone, I think you should seriously consider this instrument. Great for gigging, great for practicing on, great for amplifying up. The onboard electric sound, brilliant. It's a thumbs up from me, guys. So yeah, thanks for watching. I've got more guitar reviews coming soon. I have plenty more microphone reviews coming soon. So please, if you've enjoyed this, consider subscribing to my channel. Ring that bell. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Just give me a sub, guys. Come on. I'll be back soon with more reviews.